Oh, it looks like we're live. Fantastic. All right, let's try and get the mic a little bit better. I still have old crappy headphones, so I apologize about that. Um, let's look at our favorite stock, Hydrite. So I ended up making my final purchases around the 170 mark. I didn't get to the bottom at the 1.6, but at that point I was like, all right, I've got enough of this stock. I just need to wait. And we have been having a nice little breakout, although if we're being honest, everything, well, not Dutch Brothers, but everything's been going up, particularly the tech stuff over the last few days. We're just looking at, I mean, it's almost identical. Meta and Microsoft, Marvell. I mean, all the stuff's been having a little bounce over the last week or so on some level. Um, anyway, yeah, the no new news on Hydrite. We have 2 weeks before their earnings, and then they'll have more steady earnings for the rest of the year. They're guiding for 150, but they're being priced at a much lower valuation. Their current market cap is, let me see, I believe it's, uh, whoopsies. Current market cap is 147 million. So after this recent run up, they're basically at the point where their market cap is matching their projected revenue growth. Their forward PE is actually up to 17, which is a little bit more uh, reasonable. It was closer to 10 back when we were down here. So yeah, it's I don't know if it's a strong buy right now, unless we think they're gonna keep growing at pretty good rates over the next couple years. But definitely watch it and buy on some dips. Let me see what else we're looking at. I did make a few buys myself. I bit the bullet and bought 100 shares of Oracle right around one. I think my price point is 130. Let me check my account. 138. So I bought 100 shares of Oracle at 138. That has been a very nice play. I was actually in Oracle around 170 a long time ago. I ended up selling. Actually, I think I sold right around here, and then I bought before earnings. I didn't sell up here, but I did sell too late. I think I sold right when the stuff started to go down. I probably sold right around here, and then I just watched it go down. But uh, they were suffering from the OpenAI stigma. They had a lot of um, back orders for their services, but a lot of that was tied to OpenAI, and which people were like, well, where are they going to get the money for it? 1 second. Okay, thank you. Um, I ended up buying Synergy, and I bought it around 80, 90 cents. I think we made a video on it like back here on the 115 area, and I was like, all right, I need to wait for it to see if it gets back to $1. We dipped down to like the 70s, and then it started to recover. So I bought it around like the 80 cents thing, and it has done very poorly since then. I didn't, blow out my position or anything. I think I bought about 1,000 shares just to check it out around 80, so it was like $800, and it went down a bunch. And I could sit on it and see if it recovers, but this was like a 50-50 chance about whether these guys are gonna do well. Maybe I'll. Um, their earnings are on May 14th. Um, they're not having the recovery that I would have hoped for. But we got a couple weeks. If they stay down here, if they go down even lower, I might go in and get like another like 1,000 shares at 40 cents or 30 cents. Um, I think I sold them. When did I sell them? I think I sold them at like the 60 to 50 area. I was just waiting for a little bump. I don't know if I sold them here or here, but yeah, I definitely lost a little money on those guys. Um, what else? So there's a couple buys I made. I ended up getting about how many? How many bull? I got 20 contracts of bull option contracts, leaps. Well, not exactly leaps, but pretty almost leaps for basically January 2027, January of 2027. So next year for $5. And it cost me about $1.20 to get that. Bull has recovered a little bit. I don't think they're going to grow as much as Hood, but that position, I plan to keep it for a while. I don't see them being able to dip much lower. Uh, I mean, obviously anything's possible, but Bull is, I mean, they could definitely dip lower, uh, but they are growing, just not very fast. So we'll have to see. Um, so that was good. I ended up buying. I've actually been in and out of Hood. Um, I sold Hood up around the 120s. Like I don't know exactly where, but right in this area. After the 150 went down, I was kind of watching it for a bit, but the general market trend was doing poorly. Crypto was doing poorly, and I was like, all right, it's overextended. Let me get out of it and wait. And I should have bought it over here, obviously. I should have bought it in the 60s, but I ended up getting it at the in the 70s. It could it could fall apart again if we have another war or something else happens. But right now, that's doing good. So Hood and Oracle, 100 shares of each, two two positions that have recovered pretty nicely. We'll see how they go in the future. I was gonna sell Whirlpool because I had 100 shares of them, but they might recover a little bit with everyone else. So we'll see how they go. But the two small stocks that I wanted to mention to people, well, I'll just say I bought Delo. Um, they're not too volatile, but they're a good long-term play. I didn't buy a ton of them, but I bought a small amount, just to like a little bit to DCA in. They're not going to tank a bunch. They're not going to go up a bunch. Um, but I think long term they're going to be good. I'm sure there's people online that follow them. I've been watching them for a while, but I finally decided to. Maybe went up, going down, but the um, yeah, I think around the third, like this is a more recent position the last few days, so hopefully they do something. Um, Let me see, what else did we get? I bought Orbs, Data Vaults, and these guys. So Orbs, Data Vault, and these guys. Each of the Oh, I also bought. What did I buy? I bought Saidu and uh, SATL. Now I did a very small position in these guys. We're talking just 100 shares at like around $7. They are definitely overextended. This is kind of like a buy and hold and see if they keep running, if these guys explode, I'll make some money. If they dip, I'll probably buy them again. Same thing with Saidu. These guys are all in different financial metrics. SLNH, very small, green energy, um, renewable energy, data center stuff. We're talking like what's their market cap? Let's focus on these guys first. 128 million market cap. Uh, they are they're they're not in the wait and see thing. They're moving forward with projects. They're acquiring uh, campuses. They're developing. They're building. They make Bitcoin, they mine Bitcoin, but they're also doing the AI transfer. They're a very small but potentially very big company. This isn't a giant position again, but at $1, I just like, I think I forget what my average cost is, but it might have been like around 80 cents. So, oh, these fucking kids. But I think I bought a thousand or 2,000 around the 80 cents. And, this isn't like exploded yet, but my hope is a lot of these things I've been following for a while. I was actually in the Saidu around the dollar. I followed it up to this point, and then I followed it on the way back down, and I ended up selling it like at $2 or $3. So I made a little bit of money on it, but I should have just sucked it up and held it because of the space play. But going back to SLNH, yeah, we got into these guys. I think they're so. What do we got? We got SLNH, YF, Data Vault, Saidu, Saddle, Orbs. Orbs was simply a value play. They're in the crypto space. If they were to be liquidated today and return money to shareholders, the amount of assets they have on book is like $2 to $3 as far as share price. So they're very undervalued just on how much assets they have. I don't know if they're going to have a big future, but they're a relatively safe play. They're just more like a treasury company with, I think, WorldCoin and some other things. But they've got a couple different businesses going on. But that's just a value play. I didn't buy a ton, just 1,000 shares just to see where it goes. Data Vault, these guys are interesting in that. So we're not going to do orbs. SLNH. We're going to do Data Vault, Saidu Satellite. Why? Do I have this stuff up? I think I do. Yeah. Saidu is dangerous because they are burning money, but they're also very um, interesting in that they are basically are a satellite. They can make they make satellites. They have a satellite called LizzieSat. They're working on data centers in space with a partnership with I think Lone Star Data Centers or a company called Lone Star. They definitely have the partnerships. They got the velocity and the revenue going. Um, and I should have just sat on them at $1 because but I'm trying to be an active manager, not quite a trader, but not long term on everything. I got long term holdings, but I got long term holdings, but some of the smaller things I try to be, careful with and not stay in for forever. But lots of debt, lots of dilution, but huge upside with Saidu. I only bought 100 shares because if they explode and go up to, $70 one day, great, like that's $7,000 with 100 shares. But my goal is I'd like to wait for a downturn. If they go down to $4 or $3, I'd like to get a bigger position. Um, SATL not growing as fast, but where's their debt? They do have a higher debt position, but they um, they're growing decently. Like any company that's growing like in the 30% worth taking a look at. They're obviously a space play as well. Another small position, like 100 shares, like very very small position, less than $1,000. Just it's kind of the thing where I just want to buy, so it's in my portfolio, and I want to see where it goes. If it keeps going up, I don't think I'll dollar cost average in. I just want to watch it and research it more. TSSI, this has been around for a long time. I bought 100 shares of them, but these guys shouldn't be in bag speculation. These guys should be up in like a Roth Technology Fund. Uh, TSSI basically makes the racks that house all the chips and the power They're an integral part of the data center manufacturing play, and they are very small. They're a $400 million company, and um, yeah, we got them I think in the 13s, and obviously should have. I wasn't paying attention. The market was just in a downturn for a while, and especially in like November, I was just like, after the highs in October, I was just really disappointed, and they just stayed in like the sixes. It felt like dead money for a while. There was some uncertainty with AI stuff, so I was just like, eh. But I should have bought it down here. If it goes back down, I'll put an alert in. I don't think it will since things are recovering, but let's do 7. I don't think it's going to get down there, but this is the kind of thing where if it goes on dips down to, let's say, 12 to 10, I'll be watching this more closely and cycling through it each day. But this is the kind of thing that I would get into more. They have very strong growth. Um, we are talking, what are we talking about? This is something I have to check on. I don't think this is accurate. I think that it's a lot higher than this. Um, mm, well, they do have low debt, but mm, I could be wrong, but um, yeah, system integration AI racks. Okay. Let me see. That is correct. Okay, I'm looking at stock analysis. So their market cap's 420 million right now. Their revenue was 245. So, and their net income was only 15 million. So they're obviously very, they got a ways to go to increase their PE and their margins and whatnot. But very small company. If their revenue and their income and their margins can improve, they can definitely have a big move. But the AI rack integration business grew 78% in 2025. Okay, so that's the part of the thing that I'm obviously we're interested in. Like, I don't know what's going on with Microsoft, but most people care about Azure growth. I don't know what's going on with the rest of their business, but certain parts of businesses are more valuable than others. This is a part of these guys that is good. I only bought 100 shares of them because, again, I am hoping for their price to get down significantly. Um, I've been looking at a couple different people as well. These guys look like a good potential buy, but they're about, I think they're like $90. And I just, if I'm going to buy something for $90, I want something like Nebius. Although Nebius is up a lot more, so I think Nebius is going to replace Tesla on the Meg 7, if I'm being honest, someday, if Tesla doesn't get their crap together. I did go heavy into this position, though. And by heavy, I mean a couple thousand shares. These guys were around 60 cents. I think that's where I got them. And luckily, they are up somewhat. We're kind of getting chopped around up and down. But it's nice that they're up a tad. But, man, I will probably try to do a video on a deeper analysis onto these guys. They're in the healthcare field. They are. Um, Let me just. I don't remember a lot of these things. I got them. I've been following them for a while. I don't have the stuff saved in my brain about um, about what exactly. Sorry, my kids are really, really loud right now, and I'm trying to not do videos where I save them. I'd like to just do the stream and then have it get automatically uploaded so I don't save a bunch of stuff on my computer. But these guys are basically like, well, AI data center stuff for patients. They're trying to do, what's the word? Oh, this was the wrong day to do this stuff, but um, let me see. Basically, you take all of the baby, not baby, Freudian slip, all this patient data and then analyze it to do predictive medicine. And they try to look for different details in different patients and then predict what things they are at risk for and then do preemptive treatment. And they are partnered with Orion, which is across um, 11 countries. And uh, long story short, they have a um, large customer network, large customer infrastructure. They are growing very fast. Um, Last year, 427% revenue surge. They became profitable, well, at least in positive adjusted EBITDA. Um, they're growing their margins, very strong moat. Um, and they were burning a lot of cash, but they are finally getting to a point where they're like net neutral, which is, these are the kind of things I look for, is like, obviously everyone that starts up burns through a lot of cash, but are these companies becoming profitable? Are they trending profitable? Do they have a decent moat? Are they growing their revenue, growing their profitability, growing their earnings? Um, and like, what is their future outlook? Not that everything here has to become the next Google, but it is a very strong partner. In this is kind of a summary. I don't just go to Gemini for all this stuff. I do this for like the summary stuff, but um, they are very, well, we'll just say deeply embedded in the healthcare systems of Canada, the U.S., and now the Middle East. So um, they're a real company, but they were 60 cents. Um, Let me see. 189 million market cap, revenue of 75 million. So they're losing money, but um, they actually have a decent amount of cash on hand, and as their profitability goes up, they won't have to dilute as much because they got a fair amount of shares out there. We're talking a couple hundred million. I'm going to go with 300 to 350. But unlike Hydrite, Hydrite only has, I think, had 50 million, and they're doing a 10% buyback. So I'm basically looking for companies in a similar situation as Hydrite, where they're at an inflection point where they are making money. They're becoming they're on their way, well on their way to becoming profitable, even if they're not profitable yet. Big moat, large networks of where they work, and um, and low debt is important to me because that's a killer for a lot of these small businesses. Not that this is small, but for a publicly traded company, it's pretty small. Um, but yeah, their expectations going from losses to positive earnings is very, very promising. So again, it's not. The reason I'm going over these companies right here is like if you can say like a lot of the companies most of the about 100 shares of Oracle, good company, safe company. About 100 shares of Hood, good company, safe company. Up like they're up like 15 to 30%. I'm not sure where's Oracle right now. Is Oracle up here? Oh, Oracle's actually down now. Okay, well, um, I'm just saying, like up pretty high from the lows. Maybe this will dump. Most of them, like I spent more money on Oracle than I did on all of these companies combined. When I combined Bull, YF, Synergy, Orbs, Data Vault, Saidu, and SatLogic, and TSSI, more money was spent on 100 shares of Oracle than all these combined. So these are kind of like moonshot stuff. A small portion of the portfolio, I like to try to find good companies where I can make, with bull. They're, I don't think they're going to go up to 100 anytime soon, but 8 months out to be at $5 as the economy recovers for the options. That's at 100% profit right now. It's a small position. It's like gone from about $1,200 to $2,400. It's not huge, but it's the more trades you get like that, the better. But I'm going to sit on this for a while. I would hope that it can get back up to, if we can get up to the $7-8 range, that'll be a nice 3x, and I'll knock that out. Lost a little money on synergy, but what's what is this? Got it. It's about 60 cents. Yeah, so 3,000 shares of that. I think I got, was it 3,000 or I forget, but I'm just saying, like, I know it's a lot of money for some people, but for a portfolio, if you're in your 40s or 50s, $1,000 is whatever. But these guys could easily in the next few years go up to a couple bucks. We're talking $3, $4, $5. $5 times 3,000 shares is 15 grand. If it stays the same, it's just been dead money, and I sell it. If it goes down, 50%, well, then I lose about, $900. It's a nice risk reward, but not just buying random crap. Not telling anyone else to buy random crap, but so we went over these guys. Healwell AI. I basically summarized their business. We did that. Everyone knows about Bull, TSI, Delo. Delo isn't really speculation. That's just, they're not going to explode, but they're not going to go down. I think, yeah, I'll just wait for dips on them and buy them more. But the only other ones we haven't really gone over, I didn't really go into SatL, but I'm not familiar with them. Data Vault I do know a little bit about. So what they're doing is they're making like really small data centers. Like, I don't even know if we call them data centers, but they're making small processing centers in over 100 cities across the United States, basically to provide compute for smaller businesses. And they are, where's the data vault? Is it in here? Speculative buy. Did I go over data vault in here? AI-driven supply chain logistic optimization for pharmaceutical and healthcare sectors. They won some contracts with regional health networks. What these guys are basically doing is they're providing small data centers in 100 different cities. I don't know why this entry buy, maybe they diluted. This is probably out of date, but earnings growth, revenue growth looking good. And they are providing nice small data centers in different cities at a much cheaper price than like the larger like data centers. So they're basically doing smaller projects that are not as expensive, so they can provide things to smaller catalysts to, yeah. Oh my God, this is supposed to be like my work time, and I just I don't know. It's hard. How long's it been going? All right, we'll cut this and do it later.